Welcome, Kindred Spirits, to my spiritual oasis, here weary souls come to find inner wisdom and peace. Today I am going to be doing a pick a card using, or questions being guided by our Soul Truth Self-Awareness card deck here. So I have 5 groups laid out. We're going to go from the top over: Group 1, Group 2, Group 3, Group 4, and Group 5. All of the timestamps for each of the groups is going to be in the description below. The idea here today is just get some guidance on the various questions. So if you come like needing some energy, some spiritual energy, maybe you don't have a specific question in mind, the point of this spread is to kind of give you some ideas for some questions to ask. So select one of the groups or multiple groups if you're feeling led to multiple questions. You should pause the video right here. These cards are the only cards that I have prepared. We'll be doing some live readings using a couple of different decks here today and tarot. So without further ado, let's get right into Group 1's message. So, hello group number 1 and welcome to your reading. So we're going to go ahead and get to your question. So your question is, where am I with my health goals? Where do I want to be? Why am I not there? What will it take for me to feel well? So maybe some of you picked this question because either you're feeling unwell, or maybe you just kind of know you had some health goals maybe at the beginning of the year, something like that, and you're just not seeing, you just know that you're not doing what you should be doing or something like that. So that's what we're going to be taking a look at today. So I'm shuffling our tarot cards here to snatch up some messages as well. So I am going to be using the Starseed Oracle deck as well to guide our questions. So if you are a light worker, man, self-care, we be slacking. Let's just be honest. We slack sometimes just because our hearts and souls are so focused on helping other people that sometimes, whoa, just throwing cards right now. Sometimes we struggle to focus on our own needs and our own health. So if that is something you're feeling triggered about, you're not alone. We're going to snatch up a card here really quick from our Starseed Oracle deck here. Let's see what we've got. Let's see. What messages do we have for group number 1 about health? Literally dropping entire chunks. What messages? Okay. This one. Baby steps. Oh, what a perfect message. So great. Love it. Okay. Well, let's see. So in the back of the card it says, if my body could talk, it would say, fill in the blank there for yourself. And the soul action here is feed your body what it needs to feel nourished, appreciated, and loved. Make some new exciting goals to take your health to the next level. So I'm going to be the first one to admit here that some of the things like that I love the taste of, listen, okay, I shouldn't be messing with them like that. So you're not alone is basically what I'm trying to say. So we have the Empress, the Page of Swords, Strength, and then we have baby steps here with our Starseed Oracle. It's kind of like some encouragement to move us forward. So our Empress energy is like our divine feminine energy, our prosperity and fertility and health and beauty. And I feel like this card is coming up when it comes to health goals because sometimes we don't think of our own health as like, you know, I don't know. I'm trying to think of how I want to say this. Like, when you're in the moment and you're in the day-to-day, sometimes you forget about the long-term effects of the decisions that you're making. And I feel like the Empress energy is about like the future, right? Looking towards the future, whether that be, whether you're starting a family or whatever, or simply just like looking at the future for yourself, like for your own beauty, your own physical strength and wellness and virility, and just like that goddess energy, and feeling like the empress of your own world. And also like just creativity and just this powerful, sensual energy of like going forward, feeling healthy, feeling good, waking up, feeling rested. I mean, there's like all sorts of different benefits, right, to taking care of our health and focusing more on like taking care of ourselves in general, not just physically, but also emotional health and mental health and well-being and all that kind of stuff. Like it's all together and related and connected. So yes, I do feel like it is about physical health, but I also feel like there's more layers to it, and I feel like our Empress energy reflects those layers a lot. And like putting action behind it too. Like, yes, we plan for our future, but we also take the baby steps, right? Action. The first word in that card, I hope you can see it, is action. Action. Follow your intuition before it makes sense. Like I said, before the ailments show up, make the changes before the ailments show up. Make the changes before, something might, click or whatever, especially if it's a spiritual health sort of question that you're coming with. And the thing that I see in strength is, the thing that really stands out here for me is this idea of kindness. Kindness to self, also to others, but kindness to self. And strength also relates to physical health. It relates to moral character, the health of your morality. Intelligence over violence. Self-control. Self-control is probably huge when we're talking about health goals, especially physical health goals. But I feel like this idea of being gentle to yourself, being kind to yourself as you take the baby steps and make the changes and the transformation that you need to make. I feel like that is so critical. I feel like we beat ourselves up, we slip up, we have 2 cheat days in a row instead of 1, that sort of thing. We just go in on ourselves. And I feel like the message is very clear here that, be gentle with yourself. And baby steps, like it takes time. It takes time to get to where we want to go, and sustain it, right? You might get there, but sustainability sometimes that's a baby step too. Reaching the goal is one thing, sustaining is another thing. So just being gentle with yourself, patient with yourself, and kind to yourself, and just knowing that it's going to take some baby steps to get to where we want to go, as sometimes in our lives. And then our Page of Sword energy. So this is what I kind of see here. So this idea of independence, like being independent and being fascinated by like possibilities and ever expanding intellect and reading between the lines and adventure and intrigue. What I see with that really in this particular case is this idea of not feeling like there's only one way to do things. Not feeling like, there's only one, for example, if you're dieting or something like that, or, spiritual beliefs or whatever. There's not only one of those things. We want to explore and we want to dig into it and see what works and see what doesn't work and investigate, that sort of thing. Like coming into it with an open mind rather than feeling like we already know what to do. And and being closed off to other ideas. I feel like here the message is come into it with an open mind, with like that youthful kind of exploratory type of energy. Be kind to yourself, understand it's going to take baby steps. And like the Empress is where you're going, right? That's your ultimate goal. This is the future that you're shooting for. That prosperity, that longevity, that virility, that excitement and prosperity in life. And it's not a temporary thing. And there's going to be some experimentation, some various different ideas and thoughts that we're going to have to try out to find out what works for us and what works for someone else. Like this idea of an independent mind, like what works for someone else, what worked for your aunt or your cousin or your sister or your brother isn't necessarily going to work for you. So it's about exploring and finding your niche, your position, and your strength in the situation. So these are the messages that I've channeled for you today, group number 1. I hope this was helpful to you. If it was, make sure to drop a comment and let me know what resonated. Also, make sure to click like and subscribe for more content like this, as well as following me on Facebook and checking out my Etsy shop where I curate content to help you on your spiritual journey. So thank you again, group number 1, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye. Hello, group number 2, and welcome to your reading. So the card that you chose says, who can I serve today? So, man, this is just so beautiful. Like this selfless type of energy for my starseeds is not surprising. On the back of the card, it reads, in a world lacking soul-to-soul connections, small and simple acts are what create the biggest and most lasting impact. We shift our own pain and experience an avalanche of love what we lose ourselves in the service of others, or when we lose ourselves in the service of others. Who needs you today? Listen to your heart. Who needs you? Make one soulful connection today and give solely to spread more love, expecting nothing in return. Notice the joy that you feel when you serve others. This could be because I have my Venus in the 6th house, which is all about service. But it does feel really good serving people, and that's why I'm here today, right now, serving as a medium for you beautiful souls, and a light worker, and sharing my gift of intuition, and all of that stuff. It just feels so good to like help people. It really does. So we're gonna snatch up some guiding information here from tarot, and then I'm also gonna give the Starseed Oracle a shuffle. What messages do we have for group number 2 today surrounding service? Huh. So we have our 2 of Swords, our 2 of Wands. Interesting. This idea of severing, which is like splitting in 2, and the Fool. So I actually feel like our Fool is the culminating energy, which is kind of funny. A lot of 2 energy. Duality is what I'm getting here. So these are the first messages that are coming to mind for me right now. Is this idea of duality, this idea of a dual energy, conflict, right? That's what this card is about, one of the keywords for this card. So I feel like duality comes into place where we feel split. Sometimes when we're just when we're in our heads too much. And I feel like some of you are in your head too much, and service is the way to get out of your head, right? Because if you're serving other people, you're not thinking about yourself, you're thinking about other people. And the the gift of thinking about other people is that you're not locked up in your own brain. And I feel like when your brain isn't locked up and your emotions aren't locked up and your creativity isn't all locked up, it's opened up. And your subconscious can work through some of your issues, which unblocks a lot of some of that clogged energy. So I feel like for some of you, who you can serve today is yourself by serving other people. That's what I'm getting here for some of you. And then for others of you, with the Two of Wands, a loved one. It could be a partner, you know, like a love interest, like a partner. Or it could just be someone you love, a family member, a friend. Serving them, helping them figure out what their purpose in life is. Figuring out where their creative drives lie. You know, maybe helping someone through a mentally disturbing or distracting time or difficult time mentally or emotionally for them. And just giving them like words of encouragement, or letting them know that the world is in their hands, right? And that the opportunities are vast that lay out in front of them. So with the great severing energy, this idea like that Mars energy, that anger, that conflict, and then kind of the solution to that is softening to love. Like I said, I feel like you can serve somebody that you love. And I feel like some of you might have came here maybe upset or frustrated about a situation. It could have even been a disagreement with someone else that had you tapping into that Mars energy. And the solution here is that softening to love. Giving someone a hug. Man, I love a good old hug. Giving someone a hug, giving someone else words of encouragement. Again, like helping someone else through a hard time is often a way to open us up, right? When we're in conflict, when we're in anger, we're closed off, we're angry, we're tight, and we want to loosen that up. We want that flower to blossom, bloom, and open up. And then in our Fool energy, which I feel like, again, is kind of like the culminating energy, the energy that we need to embrace in this particular reading, is this idea of the Fool energy, right? So the Fool can mean a lot of different things, but I feel like in this particular situation, the Fool is about faith, right? And kind of just going out in faith and having that like youthful, like open, optimistic, sunny, bright type of energy, and instead of approaching the world as like dark side of the moon, doomsday, mental duress, we're approaching the world in a very open, light way. And that optimism, I feel like, especially in this particular situation, that optimism is going to attract positive energy. And again, like if you're going out, you're going out on a day, the sun is shining, you're feeling good about life, and you have a very open, optimistic mindset on things, you're going to say hi to people, you're going to smile at people, and you're just going to be giving out all sorts of beautiful energy. And you know what you're going to get in return? Beautiful energy in return. I know that some people can probably do this, but I've never met them before. But you smile at somebody, and they don't at least look at you longer than they would if you didn't. You know what I mean? Often you'll get a smile back, but if you happen to run into a crabby person, which is totally possible, they might look at you weird, trying to maybe figure out like, why are you smiling at me? Like, do I know you? And it's like, no, I don't have to know you. I'm just smiling at you because you look like you need somebody to smile at you. But anyway, the whole point I feel like in this situation is to pull some of that youthful, bright, optimistic energy. And I feel like that is going to come to you as well when you start serving other people, when you shift your focus on your problems or your issues or your conflicts or things that you're frustrated about. and shift those to someone else and helping them through things or helping them discover things, I feel like is going to be what invigorates you and what helps you to overcome. Because I feel like Mars energy is that quick, fast fire, right? But eventually the fire is going to burn out, especially when you're dousing it with love, which I feel like is the water energy. You're dousing it with love and you're dousing it with optimism and like positive thinking and like doing great things for people, and being selfless in that situation. I feel like it's going to help you to move past this dark of night, anger, conflict, and have you look at the situation even from a different perspective, to gain some resolution on how to move forward. So those are the messages that I have channeled for you today, group number 2. I hope that was helpful. If it was, make sure to click like and subscribe to my YouTube channel, as well as liking my Facebook page and checking out my Etsy shop, where I curate content to help you on your spiritual journey. Again, I appreciate you spending time with me, and I will see you in the next one. Bye. Hello, group number 3, and welcome to your reading. So you chose the question that reads, am I afraid to be seen? So while I look at the back of this card, I'm going to go ahead and start shuffling our tarot here to see what messages we have. So it reads, the world doesn't want you to hold back any longer. It's time to shine your unique light on the world. You were made from love, and from love you are whole. There is no more hiding. There is no more shame. There is only truth. Live naked and free. What part of me do I hide so I can be socially accepted and fit in? Am I being authentic? Do I allow myself to be all of me? What do I need to feel so that I can be safe to be seen? Journal your answers to those questions. So I feel like that's a really good idea. I feel like kind of putting this video or something in your, like watch later or something like that, so that you can return to these questions and do some journaling, I feel like would be really great. Especially if you chose this group and you're resonating with this idea of hiding part of yourself. Ooh. So we have some really great messages. So we have Earth Pulsing from our Starseed Oracle here. We also have the Hermit, Judgment, and the Six of Swords. So the first things that I do see in this reading is liberation, and that you hold the key to your own liberation. So Judgment is about liberation. It's about coming out of the darkness and opening your arms up to the light, like allowing yourself to be seen, right? In all of your natural glory. Authenticity is also, to me, what that means. So for some of you, you might be in the Six of Sword energy. Like the Six of Sword energy is about kind of like moving away from pain, moving away from discord, moving away from struggle. And I feel like for some of you, you're moving away from the fear, right, of showing who you really are and showing your true brilliance. You know, some of us, especially if you connect with being a starseed or having starseed or light worker energy, sometimes we feel out of place because we are that star energy, right? We're out of this world sort of thing. And sometimes we try to hide part of ourselves because we don't want to be too bright, because if we're too bright, we're not going to fit in. All we want to do is fit in, especially I'm getting like young energy here. I feel like when you're younger, you're more concerned about fitting in and being socially accepted. And that's not, older people have that struggle as well. But I'm just, for some reason, feeling like there's somebody who's a little younger who needs to hear that message. Like, I feel like you spend most of your young life trying to fit in and most of your adult life trying to stand out. Especially like I don't know, when you're into the workforce and you're trying to interview for a job, right? There's a million people who have the same credentials that you have. And you're trying to stand out from the crowd, you know, so you get the opportunity. So if you are naturally different, embrace that difference, right? Embrace it right off the bat. But I do feel like some of you are being harbored away from some sort of struggle or issue. And the beautiful thing about this card is that we're leaving that energy behind. And I do feel like for some of you, because I do feel like this is an inner sojourn, an inner, I don't want to say escape, but kind of is an escape from, you know, your own, you know, mental limitations. But I feel like that hermit energy, right? Going off by yourself, and you could actually be in that space right now where you're going off by yourself and trying to figure it out, trying to figure out what you want to do with your life, and trying to figure out how you can be more authentic and how you can tap into your own authenticity so that you can live your life, like not just breathe, but like be alive, right? And I feel like with our earth pulsing energy here, you know, pulse of the mother, slow down time in nature. And I feel like the hermit energy is very similar to that. Just going to go ahead and relocate these cards. You know, the hermit is all about kind of getting away from the everyday isolation, if you will, or contemplation, going into a space where you can contemplate and think and be free to be. And I don't know how well you can see this card. I'll try to get it a little closer. But there is a person, kind of difficult to see, like laying in this like watery, flowery, mystical, magical kind of a lake or something like that, or a pond. And it's almost like they're blending in. They're like being recharged and restored there. Meditation and yeah, just kind of getting out. Sometimes like physically removing ourselves from our space, that the space that we live in, or the space that's kind of keeping us trapped, is a way for us to step outside and step into different ways of thinking. Again, I feel like nature is a good place to do that because it's just you and the world. You know, there's no human influences there, especially if you vibe with trying to be socially accepted, or if you've kept some of yourself private because you don't think it'll be socially accepted. Yeah, so what I am really seeing here for you guys is stepping into the light. Stepping into the light, spending some time with yourself to figure out who you are and your truth. And then once you figure your truth out, I feel like it'll be easier for you to find your tribe and find people that you're not going to have to hide from. Find people that are going to accept you for who you are, and they're going to nurture your journey and your path. So these are the messages that I had for you today, group number 3. I hope this was helpful. If it was, make sure to drop a comment and let me know what resonated with you. Also, make sure to click like and subscribe to my YouTube channel, as well as following my Facebook page and checking out my Etsy shop, where I curate content to help you on your spiritual journey. So thank you so much again for your time, beautiful soul, and I will see you in the next one. Bye. Hello, group number 4, and welcome to your reading. So the card that you chose was, do I believe I am worthy? Worth, boo, worth. That is such a powerful message, and I feel like we all, no matter how like confident someone is, has struggled with self-worth at some point in their life. And it's so crucial. Like, feeling like you're worthy and knowing that you're worthy of something sometimes makes all the difference. So I am shuffling our tarot here. While I do that, I'm going to go ahead and read the back of the card. It says, you are worthy. You are deserving. You are loved. Start seeing the divine beauty within you and go out and claim the life you have dreamt up. Your crown has been bought and paid for. Put it on. Put it on your head and wear it. Maya Angelou wrote that. And then the soul action says, for a big goal or dream you have, ask yourself, do I feel worthy of this? This is so interesting because I can definitely say there have been things that I did not feel worthy about. That I set the goal as like a pie in the sky and I'll be like, it'd be great if I did this. But as time passed, I did find like, what? Yes. And I feel like, again, we all struggle with self-worth, but we aren't going to see. The thing about self-worth is this. We are not going to accept something that we don't think is worth, our time, our energy, whatever. Whether that be a partnership, whether that be a romance, I already said that. Partnership, a romance, a friendship, whatever, a job, right? I mean, there are probably some jobs that you wouldn't do, because you're like, well, no, I'm at this level, or I deserve this, or I've worked towards that. Like, you're not going to all of a sudden, go back to something that you would have done, in high school or something like that. So the whole point is like, what you believe you're worthy of is what you will accept. It is what you are going to accept. That is just the truth. I'm over here blabbling. But like worth, self-worth, what you believe you're worth is so incredibly critical. It so is critical for you to see a life of abundance. And that's what our King of Pentacles here is all about. Abundance, specifically worldly abundance, material abundance. Which I do feel like probably a number of your questions might have been related to being worthy of like material success, material abundance, career, success and growth and things like that. And I feel like with our Six of Pentacles energy that those of you who chose this could be very generous people. And it could be very important to you to be generous. And, once you do obtain worldly success, or maybe it's for some of you like once any kind of money you get or any kind of success you get, you feel like you need to give it away. And I feel like that message about worth is that, why do you do that? Like, are you doing that to help other people? Maybe part of you is, but to be real and honest, like, are you doing that because part of you feel like you're not worthy of that? Just something to think about. The answers might vary, but I feel like someone needs to hear that. Be like, it's good to be generous. It really is. But it's also good to understand your, like where you're coming from with it. Like, not to say that it's bad either way, but just to say be mindful, right, of where you're coming from when you're doing the things that you're doing or making the decisions that you're making. With our whale and orca elders here, share your song, frequency of sound, and diving deep. What I do feel like that here is that, again, I feel like this is like an honesty card. I feel like this is your ancestors being like, being honest with yourself and being emotionally connected with the decisions that you make. Especially if they're monetary decisions. Like, you might think that you're making these decisions off of just like, I need to give 15% of my check or whatever. But like, dig deep into some of the more emotional reasons why you might be doing the things that you're doing. And not just being so, for those of you who are maybe more earthy or more practical folk, diving a little bit deeper into some of the reasons why you do things. as well as like a connection to ancestors. I got a message that some of you might not think you're worthy or might have issues with worth because of your ancestors, right? Your ancestors might have been poor, or they might have managed money poorly, or any manner of issues or struggles. There might have been some abuse or something like that going on, mental, emotional, financial, that might have been going on that you might not think you're worthy. That might be stuff. I think the point is there might be stuff that you're carrying from past generations into your current existence and not necessarily consciously. It might be something subconscious. So that's why I feel like the diving deep and getting down to the reasons why you're doing the things you're doing, and why you feel like you're not worthy of the opportunities or the situations or the wealth or prosperity or whatever you feel unworthy of, the love. So in our Three of Cups here, what I see here is love and camaraderie, like friendships, like having strong friendships. Do you feel like you're worthy of having positive, uplifting people around you? Because if you don't feel that way, then you are not going to attract people who are good for you. You're going to attract what you think, or you're going to accept what you think you're worth. So if you don't think, oh, no one's going to like me or no one's going to want to be my friend, well, you're right. Either way, anyway, you're right. Because that is what you are going to accept. That is what's going to be acceptable to you. But if you say, you know what, I'm looking for like-minded people who are going to be uplifting and supportive, you are not going to accept people who don't fit into that, because you're like, no, this is what I want. You know, this is what I want. I'm not accepting anything less. So I feel like the mantra is correct. Like, I am worthy of it all. I am worthy. You are worthy of what, not only what you want, but what you accept. You are worthy of it. And I feel like our King of Pentacle energy, again, is like kind of that culminating energy that is just about prosperity in general. Health-wise, right? You are worthy health-wise to be prosperous, and you're worthy of good health. You're worthy of monetary wealth and health, all of that. You're worthy of it all, you know? That doesn't mean you're not going to have to work for some of it. You're definitely going to have to put in some work, but you're worthy of it, though. So these are the messages that I've channeled for you today, group number 4. I hope this was helpful. If it was, make sure to drop a comment and let me know what resonated below, as well as click like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. And check out my Etsy shop, where I curate content to help you on your spiritual journey. Also, make sure to like my Facebook page, and I will see you in the next one. Bye. Hello, group number 5, and welcome to your reading. So the question that you chose today was, how can I deepen my trust right now? Ooh, trust is our topic today. It's so very interesting. So I'm going to go ahead and flip our card over and read what it says. It says, trust, surrender, let go of the wheel. You can trust. You can trust yourself, trust fully in yourself, so that you can deepen your trust in others. Trust creates safety. When we feel safe, we feel unstoppable. Let go and trust. Today, find your center in the chaos and be certain with yourself so you can deepen your trust in others. So I think it's a really good point to note that if you don't trust yourself, you cannot trust others. You can't trust others to have your best interest in mind. Super suspicious people are often people that don't trust themselves. You know, because at the end of the day, right? Like if you don't have your best interest at heart, or if you don't trust yourself to have your best interest at heart, how in the world, and you're you, right? Like, any decision that you make is going to directly affect you. How can you trust another person who isn't you, who, you know, doesn't have to live with the consequences of a choice? How can you expect them to, how can you expect to trust them as well? So I feel like this is a beautiful message, this idea of trust. And I think it's also lovely that that we have, like, from our starseed here, water your garden, nourishment, body care, tenderness, rest, nourishment, trust, surrender. And I feel like trust is like, it's a muscle that we have to exercise. And I do feel like it starts with ourselves. And being accountable to yourself too. And not just thinking like, oh, it's just me who's going to be affected by this, so I don't have to follow through on whatever this is, you know, like whether that's like eating better or whatever the case may be. I feel like we have to be accountable to ourselves. And if we're not accountable to ourselves, right, it's going to be hard for us to hold ourselves accountable to other people. So what I do see here is that, you know, this idea of prosperity, like once we start leaning into this idea of trusting and faith in ourselves and faith in our beliefs and faith in our destiny and the life that our soul created in hand with spirit, to have a prosperous life and a comfortable life and being able to rest and rest in that that plan, the plan that our soul made in conjunction with spirit, with God, with the universe, whatever term you choose to use. And I really like this idea of the Ace of Cups and the water in your garden. So I feel like Ace of Cups could represent, you know, a new love, right? But I feel like for this particular group, it's about like a new or renewed love, a new love opportunity for yourself. It's a new beginning. It's a fresh start with yourself and trusting yourself. And I feel like the trust comes with baby steps and also trusting, like setting yourself up for success, right? So I'm just trying to think about how to word what just came to mind. This idea of trusting. It's like, okay, how do you trust yourself? I feel like it's setting goals or telling yourself that you're going to do something and doing it. You know? You know, if starting that business is something that you wanted to do for a while and you've been putting it off and procrastinating and you have excuses and things pop up and you're like, it's never the right time. Well, it's never the right time because you're not just doing it. You know, if your goal is to start that business by the end of the month, then gosh darn it, start that business by the end of the month. Or make that phone call, you know, or whatever the case may be, whatever it is in your particular situation. But I feel like you build trust with yourself by telling yourself you're going to do something and following through, following up. And then I wouldn't say having blind faith, right? Trusting that you're going to actually do it. And not only doing that, but coming up with a plan. Be like, okay, this is how I can do this particular thing. You know, I'm going to write up my business plan this week. And then next week I'm going to research whatever I'm going to research. So coming up with a plan, I feel like will help you have faith again with that. But I do feel like prosperity comes. Prosperity is going to come for you once you rest. I'm feeling like some of you might be really, really anxious. Like this idea of trusting, this idea of surrendering is very just distressing for you. And I feel like being rest and prosperity will come once you've worked through the trust issues, right? it's really, I don't know, I feel like it's too easy to say, let go, trust, you know? It's just kind of like, okay, how do you do that? I feel like it's kind of ambiguous thing to say. But I also feel like, back to our Ace of Cups here, this idea of emotional flow, connection, outpouring, openness, and a beginning of a love affair with yourself. I said that. A love affair with yourself, right? An open heart and forgiveness. Oh, Lord. If you find it difficult for you to trust yourself, it's because you haven't forgiven yourself for making a mistake in the past. You have to forgive, like self-forgiveness specifically is one of the biggest, like, healing tools, mediums ever. And it's challenging. It's really difficult to actually forgive yourself, and it might be something that you have to do multiple times. For the same thing or a different aspect of the same thing, you know, you have to kind of, for some things you have to go back and re-forgive yourself. And I'm really vibing hard with that now. Like, yes, you trust yourself by forgiving yourself. And I feel like once you forgive yourself, then you'll be motivated to push forward whatever it is that you want next in your life. Like I said, with the Ace of Cups, I feel like the opportunities are there or they're coming, but they're not going to be evident until you are in a synchronized space with yourself. And I feel like for some of you and a lot of you, that forgiveness is key. That forgiveness is crucial. That is how you're going to nourish yourself. That is how you're going to be able to rest in the trust and soundness of your own being. That's how you're going to find your center in the chaos. By forgiving yourself and trust, and that will help you trust yourself again. So these are the messages that I have channeled for you today, group number 5. I hope this was helpful. If it was, make sure to drop a comment down below and let me know what resonated. Also, click like and subscribe to my YouTube channel and like my Facebook page, as well as checking out my Etsy shop where I curate content to help you on your spiritual journey. Again, thank you. And I will see you in the next video. Bye.